Good morning, our
Name.
people. Today is the long awaited February 25th of 2023, the day that we told our people that no matter what they do, we'll continue this journey.
Yep.
We'll continue this journey because it is the right thing to do.
Mm-hmm.
So, as usual, please help us to share, help us to like, subscribe, call our brothers and sisters. That's if they didn't kill some of them. I'm sorry. If they didn't dispose some of them at the polling stations today. So, the ones that are still here, send them the information, send them the alert. Let them know that freedom is here. I don't know why they are standing in line and doing all these things. Freedom is already here. Your Christmas gift is at your front door. All you have to do is to go get it.
Yep.
So we know today that the Nigerian people are being forced to choose between candidates who will continue to uphold, defend, and extend the life of the fraudulent constitution that held us in shackles for far too long. This so-called election day is nothing but a facade, a charade designed to perpetuate the oppressive status quo that will keep our people in perpetual servitude. But we must not be discouraged
Mm-mm.
because NINAS is here.
Yep.
The NINAS movement has shown us there is another way, a path to true freedom and self-determination. We cannot afford to sit back and watch as corrupt politicians and their cronies decide our future for us. Instead, we must continue to stand up for what is right, demand real change, and fight for a better future for ourselves and future generations. We can overcome any obstacle and achieve our goal if we stand together. We must never give up. We must never lose hope. I will never forget that our destinies are in our hands. We need to take it back from the cronies. So today, as politicians go through the motions of another fraudulent selection, let us remember that the real power lies with the people. We are the constituents that makes the constitution. We must continue to organize, mobilize, and fight for our rights. We must continue to demand a transition for union reconstruction. And guess what? Reject anything less. We are not going anywhere, y'all. We'll continue to be here. You will do the right thing because the politicians has nothing, nothing, nothing to offer you. My name is Mona Saga. We are happy to have you today. We can't wait to take off with today's topic. Is well. What is the word I'm trying to use? Is well appropriate for the condition that we find ourselves today, especially for those of us that insisted that you must go so that my brothers and sisters will not leave to take care of their children. Thank you so much. Go ahead, my sister.
Thank you so much, Dr. Munachi. It breaks my heart when my people have to choose whether to live or to die. And
Mm.
that is what you call an election. You're choosing in places where people are discussing on issues. You're going to vote. Oh, let's vote so they don't kill us. Let's vote so we'll see whether terrorism will stop or terrorism will continue. Or like you're not even on the table of discussion yet. And we begged as mothers, we begged our children, don't follow these old men that are leading you through the same routes. They refuse to listen. There's something I put on my Facebook. I said, Onye fu ihe ọfụ, ihe ibie fụrụ, oje nọdụ.
Mm.
So when you see what your elders, because there's my saying, is another saying that what elders see while sitting down. If children climb on top of Iroko tree, they might not see it. But only the wise child will learn from his or her ancestors and elders and say, what did you see that we cannot see? Tell us so that we can harmonize our thoughts. We'll make our history and then the whatever knowledge we have acquired so that it can work together. But you say, no, I want to just carry on anyhow because I am now bigger than my parents. Yes, I know better than them. Then they break your heads, fracture your bones, we'll be here and we will guide you to safety and healing because that's what mothers do. We don't abandon our children. My name is Ekwi Simon Okube. We pray that you help us to share. Like, subscribe, so that it will get to our people. You are part of this team, and we appreciate your work. Those that are seeing this video for the first time, please subscribe, like. We appreciate all the people that come here every Saturday. We do not joke with you at all. And we see the work you're doing because you are the people spreading this information to the people. And we are seeing improvement. Our people are understanding. Those that uphold truth and honesty, they're understanding the NINAS message better. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Sister AP. I'm still sharing, so continue to help us to share and like. Welcome, welcome to the program. We're definitely happy to have you here. Um, we typically send out our PowerPoint as well as the intro for the topic for the week. So if you are not receiving it, let us know. Reach out to us, and we can also be forwarding it to you. We like that PowerPoint because it's a summary of what some of the things, all the things that we talk about throughout the show. So in that hour, 2 hours, you can actually follow it on the PowerPoint in a summarized fashion. So if you're not getting it, let us know. We try to send it out. We know that today, Kata Kata Day, everybody is running around. I hope my people prepared and got themselves some food. Hi, brother Isi Momodu. This is our wonderful brother who does not give up. He understands where we're going, and he's consistent, which you don't see, a lot of our people. They only come when it's when they make noise and it's all loud. That's when you will see them. So this guy here has been tested and proven. So, brother Momodu, we welcome you to the program. Thank you so much. Continue to help us to share. Continue to help us to like and all those nice things. Today, because of the so-called Western guard over Nigerian election, you know that they will be seriously blocking everything that they, you know, feel will threaten what they are trying to protect, which is criminality. We keep saying over and over again that we do not have democracy in anywhere in Africa. If you think we are lying, let's switch with your democracy. Let's have you take over your so-called leaders that you installed in place. Let them come and lead you, and let yours come and lead us, and then we'll have a conversation after 400 years. So we know the difference. That's the audacity these people have. They know that we went to the same university they went, we took the same class, and we are no longer in our village where we don't have access to information. Then they want to sit in your White House or whatever house you find yourselves and tell us that Nigeria is a democratic country. You must be crazy. You must be totally crazy. So continue to help us to share. Like I said, they are going to do their worst today, but it's not stopping us. It's not stopping us. People are watching it on the platforms, and they are definitely flowing through. And we are not going anywhere till our people get what they deserve. So, as our topic goes today, Nina's compass for navigating to safety. Nina's compass for navigating to safety, because we know what's going to happen today. It's already happening. Videos upon videos upon videos of electoral inconsistencies is unbelievable, and that's if you come out alive. People are saying, "Oh, I can't believe, oh God, oh, what happened, though?" God has nothing. God has left that place called Nigeria. That place is hell. So if whenever you're in trouble, instead of calling God, call devil, because that's who he belongs to. Call the man that owns it. His name is devil. It's not God. God cannot put you in hell and you will continue to be his children. The NINAS Secretariat statement on February 22nd of 2023, is a clarion call to the people of Nigeria living in pain and danger of a unitary Nigeria to take full responsibility for their future and their spaces. It's time for Nigerian people to take complete charge of their lives and determine the fate of their union and force democracy. We cannot continue Excuse me. My thing stopped working. All right, we cannot continue to allow the political merchants, the elite, the middle class, and their bedfellows, the church, to beat the subdued poor masses into submission so they can forcefully preserve the British Caliphate fraudulent union of debt and backwardness. One would think that the church, which should be a beacon of hope and a force for good, will be the one to fight this conspiracy to keep the people of Nigeria in bondage. However, as we can see, they are the part of the internal colonizers that teach us to wait on the Lord while we are continuously raped by the brood of vipers. As currently constituted, Nigeria has regressed to the political climate of 1964/66. It is clear that those who have chosen to go to election rather than follow the wise counsel of NINAS transitioning propositions put forward since December 16 of 2020, that we know they will not be able to deliver what the people want under the fraudulent 1999 constitution. The Nigerian people have suffered for far too long under the yoke of this fraudulent union that has brought them nothing but pain, danger, and death. Our youths are yearning for change and they are desperate to change the trajectory of their lives. As victims of political gambling, our so-called youth will soon come to the painful realization that they have been swindled once again by those that they trusted so much. Even the ones that their names or his name is in the Bible, even the ones that we thought was. Therefore, the people of Nigeria must rise and reject this miscalculated move full of empty promises. And it's time to demand a real change. Like we keep saying, that transitioning process that will bring us a true union reconstruction. We are advocating that the people of Nigeria take a stand and demand an immediate transition now. Those who choose to go to election again, they have nothing to offer us. We know that they only care for their interests. The NINAS transitioning proposition has been put forward with wisdom and foresight. Again, the NINAS transitioning propositions have been put forward with wisdom and foresight, and it's time for our people to heed to their clarion call. The stakes are high and the risks are great, but the reward of free, prosperous nation are even greater. Should I say prosperous nations? I have something against S. I can never say it. We must be willing to take bold actions, stand up for what is right, and fight for our future. The indigenous peoples must take full responsibility, and we will not rest until we have achieved genuine self-determination and a union that works for all the indigenous peoples trapped in the so-called failed state called Nigeria. So you see, your election will not take you anywhere. Your election will not save us or save you. You have witnessed what happened today. It's not even over. And they will go back and cook the soup very well and then deliver whatever they want to deliver to you on Monday. And we know that that wasn't the route to take. But some people, because of what they have to gain, some people, because of what they think they will gain, some people, because they have lied to themselves all their lives, they don't know the difference between truth and lies anymore. They really think that this is the way out when we know that the under fraudulent 1999 constitution will go nowhere. The only thing that we can do is to take 10 steps forward and 1 million steps backwards. And we are here saying, why is it hard for our people to understand that we must do this the right way so that everybody, not just you and your good old boy network, everybody will benefit from the system. That's what NINAS is advocating. And it's hard for our people to grab because they are used to wuru wuru, happy and wait. I will allow my sister to add while I pull up the video. It's very distressing.
Honestly, if one looks at what is going on, you want to ask our people, how long will you accept to live in Egypt, a home of bondage? the land of slavery, the Egypt of the Bible. You begin to wonder, when will our people begin to think critically? We know many people are waking up.
To become mainstream.
Sorry.
The number is much, over 200 million in population. So if 150 million even if let's say 50 million wake up, it will still be as if many people are not awake. So we know that our people are waking up. We're just pleading for those that are waking up. Please follow the right channel. Don't go where they will shoot you and kill you. There's no need for that, because you are the owner of the land and it is your right. Self-determination, is your right. You don't need to beg for anyone to give it to you. You just exercise it. Organize yourself and exercise it. Please go ahead, my sister.
So, Father, I'm going to ask you again. I'm going to ask you all for the very first time. How do we bring back to the mainstream those who have now been pushed to the fringes, talking about and believing and espousing the belief that Nigeria truly should be one?
We need to begin by resolving a conceptual crisis. What do I mean by a conceptual crisis? Quite often when we speak about Nigeria, we collapse the distinction between country, state, and nation. We tend to think that the three mean the same. We tend to think the three are synonyms. A country is a territory. From the Latin contra terra, the land that lies ahead of you. A country is a territory. It is not necessarily a nation. A nation is an association of peoples. And I use that word in the plural deliberately because of diversity. A nation is an association of peoples who identify their shared core values. And on the basis of their shared core values, they give themselves a constitution which will now establish institutions that make up the state. What we have in Nigeria and in most African countries is a confusion where we think the nation is the state. The nation is reduced to the state. We have a country quite all right by the fact that we live within a territory, even if that territory is not secure, as we all know. But we don't have a nation. We have institutions that make up the state. We collapse the nation into the state. If you look at our constitution, section 2 of the current constitution, and you don't find this in the 1963 constitution, it ascribes sovereignty not to the people but to the state. That is dangerous. That means the state has the last say on any question. That means the state is more powerful than the citizen. That is a recipe for impunity. Because as we all know, the state is the head of state, or the governor, or whoever represents them. Whatever they say, we all have to comply, whether they're right or wrong. So we don't have a democracy in the true sense of the word.
Oh my God.
And until we have that, until we build a nation, we can't even talk of unfinished greatness. And I have to make a critique of the title of Governor Fayeme's book. It presupposes that there is a project that is unfinished. I am saying we have not even started the project.
Oh my God.
And we need to stop deluding ourselves. What are our shared core values? What are the things that bring us together, apart from the super egos? You know, when I had this experience, 2013, I was visiting a place called Do in Plateau State. The Plateau State governor is here. I got to Do the Friday before the Nations Cup final between Nigeria and Burkina Faso. And there was tension everywhere. But on Sunday night, when Nigeria won the game, the final match, the tension dissipated. And most people forget the fact that a young man from southeastern Nigeria received the ball from a young man from Pangshin who had to leave Nigeria because his parents were killed. Victor Moses passed the ball to Sondemba. Sondemba scored the goal. And we didn't even ask about the local government of origin of the scorer of the goal. So what are our shared core values? If you ask the Americans, they talk of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. We don't have one. And it is when we begin to identify our shared core values that we begin to build a nation. What we have right now is a state held together at gunpoint. And when the state begins to oppress the citizen, there'll be cries of marginalization, there'll be secessionist and separatist agitation, there'll be insecurity. Now we have set up Nigeria to be a place where the state is more powerful than the citizen, and the state is oppressive. We need to retrace our steps. Quite often, Nigerians ask, which is the way forward? And I say, if you are moving in the wrong direction, you shouldn't be going forward. You should make a U-turn.
Thank you, brother, for that statement. Go ahead, sister.
Yep. Thank you so much. We'll pull up the second one. And we want to remind our social influencers that what is at stake is serious. It's more serious than movie scripts. It's reality. It's not movie script. Please, let's stop all the drama. Let's sit down to understand real issues. And when people like this Reverend Father speak, he's a vice chancellor. Others that do not know should sit down and listen so that they can learn. And when you learn, you understand the problem. It's only then you can be part of the solution. Like he said, if you are traveling on the wrong routes, moving forward, it is not what it should be doing. A U-turn is what you need to do. Why are you so proud to make a U-turn? Some people don't even want to listen. Some are warning me in their platform. Please allow us to continue on this our evil. Don't talk to us today. We want to go and be part of an exercise that is in futility. And these are educated people, the people that you believe that you should know. So if these ones that you know do not want to listen or pay attention, what of people that are not even educated? Most of the time, I find people that are not educated in the Western way more ready to listen to the explanation.
Have more wisdom.
And more wisdom. They understand it. So I now know it's not because of education, Western education. It's just dishonesty. People are dishonest and want to lie to themselves. So please go ahead, my sister.
Yes, as we continue in our Enlightenment series in this critical period, we come today with explanations around the subject of whether the president can change the constitution, because that's the, a whole number of people are calling, NINAS to say, oh, when this good man comes, when that one comes, they will change the constitution, particularly the ones who are doing the PVC revolution. They say, oh, let our man get there, he will change the constitution. Honestly, they genuinely think that a president that wants to can go and change constitution. So this broadcast is to break it down, to let them know that it is not so. It is not within the powers of a president to change constitution in the manner they are imagining. Only in the military era can a military president draft whatever law he wants and bring it up by decree. But in the civil dispensation, in the democracy we seek to be, in the civil dispensation we have, no president goes to change any constitution. The power to make constitution, not even the National Assembly, not the president plus the National Assembly working together, can resolve the question of the dispute that has arisen around the 1999 constitution, because the central question is that we have not made any constitution, contrary to the claim in the preamble to that constitution that we, the people, have solemnly resolved to live in unity and therefore have made and given unto ourselves that constitution. To tell you the nature of the problem, such that the president and the National Assembly cannot be the ones to go to solve it for us. If you go to, even by the admission of section 14.2a of that same 1999 constitution, you will see that it says that sovereignty belongs to the people of Nigeria, from whom government, through this constitution, derives all its powers and authority. I repeat, and I'm quoting section 14.2a of the constitution. It says, sovereignty belongs to the people of Nigeria, from whom government, through this constitution, derives all its powers and authority. That is a universal truism. That constitution, as bad as it is, as fraudulent as it is, at least admits that truism, that sovereignty belongs to the Ijo, to the Yoruba, to the Igbo, to the Tiv, to the Berom, to the Langtang people. These are the people that own the land, the sovereignties that will be, integrated and consolidated into a political union. And so that sovereignty belongs to them, and it is from them that the government will be constituted, the union will be constituted, and the powers that will be exercised by the managers of the government of the union defined by those owners. And so you come from that section 14.2a to the preamble of the constitution, the preamble that says that we, the people, having firmly and solemnly resolved to live in unity as one indivisible entity and indissoluble, do hereby make and give unto ourselves the following constitution. It is in the pretense that the Ijo, the Ogoni, the Igbo, the Yoruba, the Tiv, the Berom have all sat together and agreed to be one political union, and having so agreed, have then gone ahead to write the articles of their union that you now call constitution. Constitution is in the second layer. The principal thing is whether the constituent components that own the sovereignties have agreed to be in union. And so, to tell you what is now wrong with our own situation, Decree number 24, by which that constitution was imposed in 1999 by Absalom Abaka, tells the story of how they came about the constitution. They said they formed a committee called the Constitution Debate Coordinating Committee, headed by Nikki Toby, that went around to hotels and talked to people they found in beer parlors, and came back to the Supreme Council of Absalom Abaka, who then received the report. These are things in black and white inside the 1999 constitution. We're not pointing to the sky for the source of our position. Our position is taken from the story of the authors of 1999 constitution, as printed inside the 1999 constitution, gazetted. That's what the whole world has as our constitution. It tells that story, and then says that the Supreme Military Council adopted that report subject to the amendments, that is, they added and subtracted as they deemed fit, and called that report 1999 constitution, attached as schedule to that decree to become the constitution of Nigeria. And so when you look at that that story as printed inside that constitution, for how the authors of that constitution came about the constitution, and you compare it with the lies in the preamble to the constitution that says that we, the people, have agreed to be in union and have written this constitution to govern our union, then you go back to 14.2a that says that it's we, the owners of the sovereignty, that will that have the exclusive authority to make a constitution.
I know. What a contradictory statement. That's how they roll. And we are telling our people that this is not for us. This is not for us. And they're finding it so difficult to understand. Anyway, what are we saying here? After all, they live in Osman Fudu estates, right? So maybe if we make noise, the landlord will come and chase us out. So because we are living in their estate, we are going to pretend that we, the people, we made the constitution. Maybe that's where they're driving their ideas from. I don't know. It does not make sense to me that somebody is telling you that something is fraudulent. We're saying that this is fraudulent anywhere else in the world. When something is fraudulent, you get rid of it.
Yeah.
But obviously, when where we come from, when it's fraudulent, as long as it's benefiting us, we go dance, God dance, we go paint them white and blue, and we make it look beautiful, and we package it some more, and we hand it over to people and say, this is good for you. That's what we're doing. And you get nowhere anyway with that. Your brother, the Saint, they've already told you that they're not touching that constitution. And as long as they are going to defend and uphold it, you go nowhere. You will be in the same predicament. You'll be in the same situation. Nothing will change for you. And then as long as you are living in Osman Danfodio estates, as long as you are playing the game of democracy, they told you we are playing the game of democracy, we got the majority, even if we don't win, whatever stooge we put in place, we will control with our remote control, and there's nothing you can do about it because you, the Nigerians, you live in the estate of Osman Danfodio. It belongs to their grandfather. The new nation called Nigeria should be an estate of our great-grandfather. We must ruthlessly prevent a change of power. We will use the minorities of the North as a willing tools and the South as a conquered territory. You are conquered, and never, 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 never allow them to rule us. Worse yet, to even have control over their own future. This is the most wicked slave camp on the face of the universe. But thank God for NINAS. We have a way out. We have a strategy to counter and conquer this declaration made by this demonic entity that I don't know where he came from. We must take responsibilities of our future and take charge of our spaces, according to NINAS. It's a no-brainer. But if you want to continue to live on blood, because that's what it looks like you guys love now. It looks like you love to see body parts, head on the other side of the road, the leg on the other side. If you have a cell phone, you take a video and continue going where you're going. If that's what you guys have resolved to be in, that kind of environment, I guess there's nothing we can do for you. But if you feel like your children deserves better, or your children deserve better, if you feel like you want more for your children, then there is a way out. And we will tell you today why your election, oh, I forgot, selection would not mean a thing to your current condition. Go ahead, sister.
Thank you so much. And we want to appeal once again to those that are in one agitation group or the other. We keep telling you, building a nation or delivering a nation or self-determination, it's not about who makes noise loudest. You must follow the protocol, and NINAS has given us the framework. We are not saying you should stop associating with your brothers, that you people drink together, eat together, and make noise together, and lament together. However, if you are not working the work, there's nothing your lamentation will do. You must follow the formula for the math problem before you can get the expected answer and the expected results. So please share this video to them. Anywhere you know them, tell them, calm down and look. Look at this. If you look at this, it will save you time. It will save your lives. You will stop dying, especially those in Southeast, sending our boys out to go and be killed like animals. We plead with you as mothers. We plead with you. Please stop doing this. There is a solution on the table that can take our people to safety. Our people do not need to die anymore.
No.
Our people do not need to be casualties anymore. Not to the politicians, not to the church rogues called church leaders, not to career freedom fighters. The solution is on the table. So as we continue with this topic, that we said NINA's compass for navigating to safety. You can see our people's heads are being broken, bones are being fractured. That's if you make it alive. Some are bleeding inside eternally. People without jobs, no food, hunger. Like everything that you will find in hellfire is going on in Nigeria. But because they are divided into three groups, the elites, the middle class, and the grassroots, the elites and middle class make noise and cover as if all is well. But the people really suffering are the grassroots, the widows, the orphans, the fatherless, the poor, the downtrodden, the voiceless. They are the people we represent. That is why we are not sleeping until every last person in that geographical space is able to be as comfortable as the children in America and the children in UK. We are not going to rest. So you can't discourage us. So there are internal contradictions that election cannot change. No matter how you make noise, no matter, like my sister will say, go and bring a saint that has died. It will not change these internal contradictions. We must sit down and fix them, else we're not going anywhere. The first one is having a so-called federal government. Meanwhile, you don't have a federation.
Nope.
Anyone that hears this, because people think they're going to create words new. These words mean something. Those that created them, the English word, they are English words. They mean something. That you are gullible or you are ignorant about the meaning does not change the meaning.
Nope.
It is the same. Self-determination is the same. Nation, federation, federal government, these are English words and they mean the same all over. It's universal. You cannot have a federal government when you don't have a federation. That's a lie. You're living a lie. You cannot run a federation with a unitary constitution. A
Nope.
federation means union of constitutions. The component members of that, the constituent members, the constituent component members of that federation would have made their constitutions or maybe charter of relationship or whatever, and then they bring it together. You now have a federal constitution, not a unitary constitution made by one person imposed on the rest of the people. These are internal contradictions. You cannot have Sharia or feudalism in a secular and democratic system. It can't do that. That's a lie. So no matter how you do election from morning till night, you can't fix this.
It means selection.
Oh, selection. The fact that you have Sharia system, feudalism in at least 12 contiguous states in the northern part of Nigeria, where people's heads are being broken, cut off, eyes, everything, where people cannot sleep. Every day they are massacred, dispossessed of their lands. It's happening every day. It's just that media does not want to carry it. The fact that you have that going on in a so-called secular system that is supposed to be a democratic system, it shows that election cannot fix this because it's a dual representation. You can't have that. It's either you have this or you have that, not both of them. Fracturing or scrambling autonomous regions into 36 states and 774 lopsided local government areas is is a malicious act against the peoples. It's injustice against the people. You go, because people have resources, you divide them. A family, put this one this side, put this one this side, put this one this side, call this one Rivers, call this one Imo State, call this one Abia, call this one whatever name that comes to your mind. As you sleep and wake up and hallucinate, you give it one name. These are internal contradictions that will continue to cause trouble until they are fixed. Election will not fix them. Manipulation of boundaries, what we call gerrymandering. Boundary was here before, you move it to this side because there's gas here and there's oil the other place, and you want this community not to have it anymore. You move it to this state, and then the community start fighting because they are indigenous to the land. They know their borders. You coming to put an artificial border like they did 1884, 85 at Berlin Conference. They came into Africa and balkanized Africa. That is why you have internal crisis. And we are saying until these artificial borders and boundaries are removed, we will continue to have crisis. And we don't want to have crisis anymore. But if you continue to allow Africa to go on having crisis, one day those crises will come and meet you because you are breeding terrorists.
Yep.
And now we're having a global village. No one will be safe anywhere. So it's a threat to global peace. These are the things we're saying. These are internal contradictions that election cannot fix. Granting the northern Nigeria resource control and freedom to mine their gold and mineral resources, which they use to fund terrorism. Their leaders used to fund terrorism. While in the South, the ethnic nations, the peoples in South, you don't give them the same rights. Rather, you steal their oil and their resources, and you don't stop over there. You mess up their environment. Our people living there every day coming down with cancer, bleeding, lung diseases, everything, no food. Their water destroyed. Their source of life, different aquatic life does not exist anymore there. The environment is polluted. You can't even clean it. They talk about Ogoni cleanup. They will do politics with it, and still nothing will happen. Which is supposed to be just, if you start, then we'll now see the rest, how we clean others. No, because they don't want to clean. They want that place to be dunghill, where everybody there will run away so that they can have access to the resources. You think you don't know what you're doing? You know what you're doing. These are internal contradictions. Seizing the assets of ethnic nations by the so-called federal government. You say so-called because you can't have, like we said, a federal government when you don't have a federation. And remember that 52 years ago, the once illicit federal government used financing war as an excuse to seize the oil and gas assets of the old Eastern region. Until today, they're still holding on to those assets.
Yep.
Does it not
assigning it to themselves? This person
Exactly.
has oil block.
Does it not mean that the war is not over yet? If you stole something that belonged to peoples, 52 years, you've not returned them. It means that the war is still going on. These are internal contradictions that election cannot fix. Continue to the next slide that says, a president that is above the law. It's only in the democracy of Nigeria that a president will be above the law. Towards the end, we'll describe democracy and break it down for you, the branches.
The
The arms.
brother-in-law is above the law, talking about the president himself.
Exactly. But why is it that he's allowed to be above the law? So far, what he's doing is the people, is affecting the people, especially the downtrodden. Nobody will speak. Everybody will just move on. Atrocities will be happening. Impunity will be happening. Everybody will go on. Who is sending him? Because he's not doing it by himself. For 8 months, our children have been out of school in 21st century. College students, because of ASU strike. Why are they striking? Things that can be fixed like that. But they don't want to fix it because they want our people to remain uneducated and uninformed. He's doing it and he's carrying on with it, and nobody is stopping it. And when we say president, we're not just talking about like the whole system is allowing him to do it. Artificial fuel scarcity. Now, fuel is 500 naira per liter. And then you have monopoly. Dangote has to own the refinery. Every refinery that the people owned before closed down so that they can build one man and use them to fund terrorism. Government is sponsoring kidnapping and banditry. They engage their brothers, Fulani headsmen. And this is not hidden. The massacre of citizens, name of jihad and ethnic cleansing in Plateau, Southern Kaduna, Middle Belt, Owo, train attack, Deborah's lynching, all these things are going on. Why are the Nigerians keeping quiet? They will not talk except it affects them. The disposition of indigenous peoples and renaming of communities. They will go send the Fulani herdsmen to kill the citizens and then move the citizens to internally displaced homes or wherever, while they grab their lands and rename their lands. Then bring a foreign population to take over. These things are going on. The law is not talking. Nobody is talking. It's just like going on. Open grazing and destruction of farmlands so that they will create artificial poverty and starvation. Because when people are down, they are very vulnerable. They can use them to do anything. Wherever they tell them to do, whatever they take them to, that's where they will go. Democratic transition as a war and jihad strategy. Visa on arrival. You will just pack people and appear in your village. They are the new people. Lord Anta, I think is in Abia State. These politicians will give them lands that belong to indigenous peoples, and they will bring foreign people and put in there. When you're talking A, they're talking B. We're not saying that people will not travel, but when you're dispossessing people and bringing terrorists to live in the midst of the people, so in the night they will stand up and kill off the rest of the people, it's not acceptable. But it's going on in Nigeria and nobody is stopping. Naira has collapsed. They technically made it to collapse so that the people will suffer. Before, Naira used to be,
Especially the traders, right? Those doing business outside now.
exactly, and they're not manufacturing anything, and people just have to buy things. It used to be, the last time when Goodluck was there, it was about 160. Now it's 750. And nobody is saying anything. Nobody is impeaching anybody. Nobody is allowing democracy to do what it's supposed to do. Those that say we have democracy, is that how they run democracy? The Naira redesign and cashless society in a place where people don't even have phone, let alone network, let alone internet, no ATM, nothing. The money is not even available. These are all strategies to destroy the people. And we are saying, we are observing the inter and intra cabal ego fights, because that's why they do all these policies. The policies are not for people. They are not there to help the people or solve any problem. It's political vendetta. This one we enter, use his position to do this, to that. But you find out that when the two elephants are fighting, it is the grass that will suffer. The people are at the receiving end of all these manipulations and fights. And the politicians, very hypocritical. Now, because he has affected them, because they wanted to buy votes, they are now making noise and telling, oh, we must let the people join, the citizens join in the defense of the president. Everybody will keep quiet until something happens that will affect them. Yet we are supposed to have three arms of democracy to balance power: the legislative branch, the judicial branch, the executive arm. We're supposed to have three branches so that one will not have an absolute power over the people. But nobody will allow democracy to operate in its form. How can you have democracy when you have a military constitution? It does not work like that. That's why Buhari had the Supreme Court is giving a ruling. Buhari is giving his own. And then the politicians are doing the one they feel like doing. It's operation, do whatever you feel like doing. We want to remind our people when we talk about Supreme Court, because we keep telling our people that these people know what they're doing, that everything they do, it's already planned. Any policy change or anything you see is planned. You remember this Supreme Court? Supreme Courts have about 16 to 17 like justices. And then you have chief judge. There's a reason why it is that way. So that even when the legislative arm makes a law that is not okay for the people, they can veto it. They can adjust it, say, no, let it be this way. Or the president trying to do something that is not okay for the people, they can say, no, this will not work this way. This will affect the people negatively. And they will vote among themselves and say, okay, this is what we will do. Ahead of time, this Fulani federal government brought in a Fulani, smuggled in a Sharia chief judge with his headsman bag. Remember that one that was carrying bag? Ibrahim Muhammad Tanko. Why did they do that? See where they're planning to take hold of the judicial arm. They're already in charge of the executive arm. They took hold of the judicial arm. Of course, the legislative arm, they're already there because they are represented higher. Their agents are more represented. These are the things they do in ahead of time. And when they finish, they will tell you to come and thumbprint. And you will go and thumbprint. Thinking that, oh, we are going, I can see, it's like something happened. Sorry, I was still, hold on. Let me make sure. Hold on, let me make sure that you can still hear us. Please type if you can still hear us. Type if we are coming out, please. Okay, can we come out? Okay, yeah, okay, we're back. So as we were saying, that these Fulani nations smuggled in their representative to take over the judicial arm. But what happened? Because you know how corrupt they are. Remember the allocation for the judiciary goes direct to them from the treasury. It's not vote itself, it goes direct. Now, this is Fulani Nation with their candidates in charge of that arm, holding it. What did he do with it? He held onto the money, doing whatever nonsense he was doing. As a result, the rest of the justice now said, "Oh no, this cannot happen." That was why he was forced to resign, and they will tell you it's on medical ground. So in June 2022, he was forced to resign. But you know what? For you to know what we're saying, he was given 2.6 billion as retirement benefits.
Hmm.
Somebody that should be tried for stealing. No, they gave him a check.
They got rewarded.
He got rewarded as usual. We tell our people that this system cannot work. We will remind you that constitution, by sovereign, what we mean constitution in a federation, it has to be by sovereign constituent members. That is the indigenous ethnic nations. Anything apart from this is fraud. It's only when you fix this that you can now begin to fix, say you're having an election. If you have not done that, then you have not even started, like
Nope.
the Reverend said. What it means that you are solving a math problem with a wrong formula, and you will never arrive at the proper results. We are a people held together at gunpoint. We are not a nation. We have not begun to build a nation yet. We are still being held together at gunpoint. A head of state, a place, a territory where the head of state is more powerful than the citizens living within that territory. It's not a nation.
Nope.
It's a slave camp. And there's no result that will come out that will benefit those citizens, no matter how they struggle, no matter how they shout. What we see going on is that the caliphate is playing ethnic card, but waving party flags. Because like we told you, the caliphate is in charge of all the major political parties. APC, PDP, Labour Party, they are in charge. You see
Everyone.
Peter Obi and you see the Fulani man standing behind him. When you are standing behind someone, there are many things you can do that person from behind, from the back of the head. You don't allow your enemy stand behind you. Whenever I see that picture, I say, wow.
Wow.
This picture alone says all my people need to see. For those that are shouting, obedient, obedient, you are obedient unto death.
Ah,
Because why the caliphate, the Fulani that are playing ethnic card and waving party flags, you, the Nigerians, you're playing party card and waving ethnic flag. You see confusion everywhere. You will never arrive anywhere.
deadly confusions.
You would never arrive anywhere. My people will say, come, let's bet. Your situation will continue to be worse, and from bad to worse to worse. We warned you 2015. You said, no, let's try. We want to bring change. What has happened after 8 years? Who is crying? Onye na-ebe anya m anya m. Who is crying in the Igbo? Who is crying? So far you continue to stay in that slave camp, under that 1999 constitution, you will continue to cry, anya m anya m, ndị Igbo. You continue to cry, my eye, my eye. Like this picture, they will break your head, break your bones, break your eye. You will continue to cry. So what is the result of this type of thing that they call politics? You see, what will come out of this thing you're doing? This thing that you're doing today is Fulani candidates is going to transfer power to Fulani candidates. And you know what? The Fulani nation will enter in their final phase of conquest. I know the religious people will say, God forbid, Jesus say this. Or Jesus, you have been calling God forbid Jesus for over 100 years. That is your situation. Some of you have run out of the country, living abroad, away from your family members. Your children cannot even stay with their grandparents.
They don't even know their
They
grandparents,
don't
my
even know
people.
their grandparents. Except you move the old people that hate cold to cold environment. And we see them with their walking stick going. Is that normal? You're deceiving yourself. You continue to deceive yourself. Why the Fulani nation will continue to do what we're doing, what they're doing. The winner of this 2023 election will find no one Nigeria to govern. That's a promise. This charade you're doing, whatever it is that you're doing today, whenever it ends, be it on Monday, on Tuesday, or after 1 month, or after 1 year, because we have just begun, we have just opened another can of war. What you people did today is open another brand new trouble for yourselves. And we say when you finish it, there will not be any Nigeria for whoever that you are choosing to govern because of the internal contradictions.
Several internal contradictions.
Exactly. Even in medicine, when a woman has fibroid in her womb, what you do is take out the fibroid. Otherwise, depending on the position of that fibroid and the size, that womb might never carry a baby to term, let alone giving birth to a healthy child. What you do is you take out the fibroid so that the baby can have space to grow and become a fetus will grow and become a baby and come out. That's what sensible people do. So what do we need to do urgently? Like my sister said at the beginning of this show, inevitable union renegotiation. We need to renegotiate.
It's waiting there for you guys. You can run to heaven, fast 7 days a week, call on the Lord, do whatever, even see the native doctors. When you come back, the problem is still there. If not, it's waiting for you.
So it's inevitable. We need to renegotiate this thing that we are doing in this geographical space. We need to reconfigure it so that we know how we are living. And then reconstruction. We need to say who is inside and who is outside. These are just things that you just sit down and discuss and plan. You shouting or breaking people's head, holding people at gunpoint, doing all these things you're doing. My people that don't understand Igbo, I say after all said and done, we will sit down to do what we are supposed to do. All this you're doing, you're just wasting time, wasting resources, and killing yourselves for nothing. Because nobody forms a nation where you can't close your eye. Terrorists are in your midst, living inside you. And they have guns, and you don't have gun to protect yourself. This is a recipe for disaster already.
And they already made it known that they don't care for you.
Exactly. And they're taking over all the things, the government tools and everything on daily basis. So you must stop this vehicle. Stop it and say, hey, we need to renegotiate. we need to say who has the right to be inside here in the first instance, this territory, who is supposed to be here. And if you check, the only person killing you are those that have no business being inside that space. And what are you doing? You're going to election with them.
With them.
And you say the election will be free and fair.
Mm-hmm.
How? From where to where? And then even people that are aggrieved are not happy and they want to leave. They have the right to leave. That's what UN said. So you can't hold people at gunpoint and say you're doing democracy. That does not happen. So the urgent thing that needs to be done is the 3 R's. By who? By the trapped constituent components of the defunct Federation of Nigeria. You see, we say it's defunct because it's not real. We, the peoples. That thing that you see in the constitution when they finish, say we, the people, because of the diversity that we have. Because we are not telling our people to deny who they are, because they're going to have identity crisis. We want to embrace our ethnicity. However, we will recognize our diversity in getting a formula that we will live with. Just like in US here. In US, you have so many peoples here, but their constitution is put in such a way that everybody's diversity is recognized. That's how here, if you're in the health industry, you will speak English and you will learn Spanish. They're not forcing them to go and speak English. Now they have phone for translation. Any language. Americans will want their patient to hear in their language. They're not forcing them to speak English.
Nope.
They want it to be comfortable. That's why people are not agitating and fighting every damn day. Except, of course, some people are fighting, but it's not like everywhere. But in Nigeria, they refuse self-determination. The colonial masters, the external colonial masters and internal colonial masters want to hold us at gunpoint and say, this is democracy. Agree that this is democracy. If not, we'll kill you.
Mm-hmm.
And we're saying we're not going to agree because we know better that this is not democracy and there won't be any free and fair election in a non-democratic system. Thank you very much, my sister. I yield here.
Thank you, my sister. Thank you so much. There is no democracy in Nigeria. What you have is a slave camp that is owned by Osman Danfodio, and you go nowhere as long as you want to continue to play politics with them. They will continue to rule you. They will continue to decide who lives and who dies. They will continue to decide if you will go to school or not go to school. They will decide all your fate. Like they said, they will make sure you cannot control your future. So as long as you are giving them that hand, we go nowhere. But there is a role that we can play, which NINAS has stipulated for us. Is out there for everybody to understand what we need to do. As the election is going on today, we can see what is happening. We know that we don't have any election, that rather we have selection. So again, NINAS is here to safely guide the People's Alliance to resolution. The information is there. Our website is up, ninasvoice.org. Go there and get the information that you need to stop this quagmire. Go there and get the information you need so that you can stop sabotaging God and blackmailing him and calling him as if he has no ears. Unless if you belong to some of these, or you believe in the God that gossip, because we figure out now that some of these gods now that they will gossip. They will go to this pastor's ear and gossip one thing, and then they will go to the other pastor's ears and gossip one thing, and the pastors are giving contradictory informations everywhere because they have a gossiping God. We must finish the unfinished businesses of Pronaco. The constitutional proposal that we have on the table must be taken care of. That in order for us to move forward, the constituents has to be part of the equation. So any mathematical solution that you're bringing that does not include indigenous peoples will not go anywhere. And we are going to base it on already harmonized grievances and lamentation of the ethnic nations within the geographical space called Nigeria. And what is our target? That the nation, an association of people with shared core values based on self-made, self-giving constitution and established institutions will be the order of the day. So that Buhari will not decide if we can get Naira today or we can't. And his brother over there can decide, oh, you guys can wait till March to get it and you cannot get it. And then the politicians want to, or the governors want to exert their powers and the politicians as if they have any power, when we know there's someone ruling them, because again, we live in a camp that is owned by their great-grandfather. They have told us already. We want the right thing to be done. We want to be the nation where other people can come and live. Just like we live here, nobody is bothering us. We want to be able to offer the same thing to people, but under the rule of law. Because as crazy as you are, when you show up in America, you're not unruly, even if you came from Ijabo, the Nimo here, somewhere in Lagos, where you run bus and you hit people's car and you jump from one tree to another. When you come here, all of a sudden, you remove your monkey wings and start acting like a human being. That we must do everything under the rule of law, set by the people for the people. And we cannot end without, again, acknowledging the 5-point proposition summary that we've always told you guys, this is how it's going to go down, y'all. This is how it's going to go down. Your election selection will not take you anywhere. We are asking for acknowledgement of grave constitutional grievances that we have raised in the dispute as declared. I don't know if you guys can see, but this color thing here is covering that part. An express commitment to the commissioned imposed 1999 unitary constitution, as well as an express commitment to shelve election, which you guys decided to go to today. My sister told you guys that you just opened up a gateway for brimstone to rain on you guys. There's nothing we can do. But whenever you finish what you're doing, you finish dancing with the devil, dancing with your killers, dancing with your people that dispose you from your land. Because we have people here that live in America that were chased out of there. They can't even go back. A lot of them are in their 60s, 50s, 70s, 80s, who knows? They are not even thinking about going back because somebody made it impossible for them to be comfortable in their own land. And even when they go home, is it that they're hanging in Lagos? They will fly all their sisters and brothers to come and meet them in Lagos, or they will sneak in if they're going to the east and start wearing aqua and rakata so that nobody will recognize them. Is that how we're going to live? A land that made it impossible for you to return back to your ancestral home. A nation, or whatever this is, fraudulent failed state called Nigeria, made it impossible for you to finish studying here and you were not able to go home and establish yourself. And we are giving birth. Our children are so Americanized now that even the words that we're using, my daughter the other day told me about Ozes. I gave her some Ozes to drink for her stomach. She came down and said, can I get some Ozazi? I was so confused. Ozazi. She really wants to learn, but because of the environment where we imagine if she's around her grandmother. And then we have to go to the kitchen and start pointing our fingers, which one is which, Ozazi, instead of Oziza. We live in somebody else's land. You think that would be possible if their grandmother is around?
No.
Sisters and brothers are around, the cousins are around.
No.
Right. So I bet she will not call hamburger backwards.
No, exactly.
She will not call it burger ham.
Mm-mm.
And yet we are so proud of ourselves. And the fourth is an invitation to the constituent peoples of Nigeria to work at the modalities for transitioning arrangements, including mandate timeframe, membership, and ancillary matters. And lastly, the announcement of a time-bound 2-stage transitioning process, which shall in the first stage feature multi-regional referendums by which constituent companies shall recommit or opt out of Nigerian Union. And it's in the second part, these 2 terms of union, if we decide to stay, as may be dictated by the outcome of the referendums. I don't know why this is hard for our people to understand. If somebody is telling you this is the way out, you're taking an exam that is difficult for you, and the teacher, some of the teachers will tell people to come in for, I forgot what it's called, like a review. They will ask you to come in for a review. And really, when they're doing that review, all they are really is leading you to the places you should be paying more attention to. So if you come to that review, you tend to do well. We're giving you reviews on where you should go. This is where, if you go here, all your problems will be solved. That 100% that you seek on the exam, you will either get it or at least get close to it. But no, we chose the Appian way as usual because that's all we do. We sell our future for 4,000 naira, 5,000 naira. I saw some women carrying a gas cylinder. They'll have exchanged the future of you and your children for a gas cylinder. Imagine that for a moment. You literally sold yourself out for 4 years, over 4,000 naira. That's if they didn't beat you up while you're standing in the line.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the kind of place that we find ourselves.
They have our people. Yeah, they have our people where they want them.
Right.
There you
and
are.
we're comfortable with that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. They're comfortable with that.
Poverty has been weaponized.
Poverty has been weaponized. That is okay. My people are okay with that. They think, oh, at least I got a gas cylinder. And we're saying that we want to build a place that is fair, equitable, and justice for all. For female, for dogs, for rats, for everybody to have meaningful life and respectful life. But if you want to live in a place where it's only the godfather that will decide who lives and who dies, the godfather that will decide, oh, when they see something happen at home, they will say, oh, this poor boy, look at this poor boy, I will take him to Canada. I will school him in Canada. What happened to our schools where we are? Why must we go to Canada to go?
The other one said that
the rest of the children in that space, since you know it's not good. So you want to be recognized by taking that one that is now trending on social media to Canada so you can get credits.
Everything is about politics.
Everything is about politics. Fakeness.
Fake people. You see the other one that said he's feeding 250 people in his house. I say, yeah, you guys.
Is he running a slave camp?
It's a slave camp, absolutely. Now you guys steal all the resources that they used to build things for our people and make our people comfortable. You bring it to your house and make your house a slave camp and be feeding 250 people, and then so that we'll clap for you. We are not clapping. We are not impressed.
Definitely, we are not impressed. We want more for our people, and we'll continue to insist on that. So on announcement, we say, now what? You have voted, now what? Where are you going with it? What is the outcome for you? I know a lot of you guys will be running out today or tomorrow or the day off or the day after. But if you want a meaningful change, not just meaningful, sustainable change, so that whether you're sleeping, so whether you're just a chairperson, a millionaire, billionaire, housekeeper, you will get the same rights, equal rights. If you want that, continue to follow NINAS, because NINAS is right. NINAS is right. We stand with NINAS and we want transition now. To learn more, you can go to www.ninasvoice.org, thedoctorsoftruth.org. And like we said, insist on transition now or forever remain in hell. And please don't waste your time fasting. You cannot blackmail God. He has left that place. And he's not constipated, neither is he in the toilet trying to poop. No. He doesn't gossip. He doesn't go from pastors to pastors and give them false messages. He's real. But you cannot create hell and want him to come and live there with you. It doesn't work that way. So, but the good news is that there is grace. Whenever you're ready to come out, he'll be willing to extend his hand and pull you out. But he will not remain in hell with you. So please, help us to share, to like, subscribe, get this information to our so-called leaders so they will know that we know. They don't know what they're doing. This is the only way out. If they are for the people, they should only accept NINA's proposal and nothing less. Because it's the NINA's proposal that will make sure that everyone is taken care of. not just you living in America and having your best life and changing dollars and going to show off back home. We want people at home to be comfortable. We don't want to come home and people are calling your name and greeting you because they know you're going to change dollar to give them. We want genuine greetings, thank you, genuine thank yous, because they are able to do for themselves.
One caveat, my dear. And then for those of you that will eventually join what NINAS is doing after they've broken your heads in so-called sham of your election, please don't come and try to start looking for who to lead or to take over the project and now suddenly say that, hey, I know what to do. My idea is better. You're not taking my idea. It took you 23 years to understand one thing being explained to you. I don't think suddenly you will now know how to navigate this project. Please, we beg you, you politicians especially, and those of you that are doing freedom fighting that have now gone to do election, because we know you will come back. When you come, please enter at the back. Go on a line, and learn to start following. Because onye nye nsogbu amayola. Anya anyị na-acha red, gaa nọ n'azụ, unu ezuzuchana pụta, gaa nọ n'azụ, mmadụ anọkwana n'iru m. Sorry for those that don't understand Igbo, because
Yep.
not.
We have plenty of information for you to read and understand and watch so that you understand where we're going. We don't want anywhere where we know where we're going.